Hi everyone, welcome to the Monkey Patching Podcast, where we go bananas about all things balding, ads, and more. My name is Murillo. I'm joined by my friend Bart. Hey Bart.
Hey Marina.
How was your weekend, Bart?
Had a chill weekend actually. Didn't do much.
Okay, that's
I didn't do
chill
much.
weekend. Okay.
The weather also wasn't great, so it was a good weekend
Yeah.
to chill out.
I feel like you saw a bit of sun last weekend, at least here. But it's cold, huh? Like also we're in December, so I guess it makes sense.
It actually dried out a little bit on Sunday, and I went inline skating.
Well, inline skating, like what's that?
Well, you skate with inline skates. I don't know. And you go on the road and you put on a pair of inline skates, and then you skate.
And what's the difference between inline? Okay, I'm just gonna look it up on images. Okay, inline skates.
The wheels are in a line, as opposed to roller skates, where you have like two pairs.
So roller skates is like the ones there's like two in front and two in back on each feet.
Yeah.
And then this
which
one
you need
is
to
all
do like in a disco or something.
Yeah. I see. The one that has like the little brake on the front, like the little
exactly.
The little
exactly,
button. Yeah. And then roller skate. Maybe I'll share this. This is inline skates. This is it.
Yeah. Something like mine look a little bit like the Bond skates. They're not actually, but
Bond
like
skates.
That. One that your mouse is on now.
Yeah, this one. Okay, sexy. Yeah, it even says Bart here almost.
Almost. It says Bond.
Bond. Okay. Yeah, actually, I didn't know the name of this. I just said it rollerblades. So that's good. You learn something new every day, yeah?
And how was your weekend?
It was good. It was, I did I came back. I was in Barcelona, right? So I feel like this weekend I cleaned a bit the garden. I did some stuff. I played football outside, which was a bit cold, but like still fine. So it was good.
Nice.
Yeah. Tidy up the things, got ready for the winter, so it's good. And what do we have for today? Would you like to start or should I start?
I'll kick it off. A Deloitte spokesperson says the firm stands behind recommendations in a $1.6 million health workforce report after errors traced to AI-generated citations came to light. Deloitte says it's revising a small number of citations without changing findings, but hasn't addressed refunds, keeping pressure on the government. Does this surprise you, Murillo? AI citations in a report by Deloitte.
It's not the first, right? So it doesn't surprise me. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Is like, it's not surprising. I say it's not surprising that people use AI. That's not surprising at all. But the fact that it was also Deloitte, it was also for a government project. It was the Australian government. That one they had to give money back. And now this came out last week that they were also using AI because, well, again, they don't say they're using AI, but there were sources that were made up, basically. It's something that an AI normally would do, and a person, I probably would have a lot of, like if I ask you to come up with 5 fake sources, I think you have harder time than AI does, right?
And what I understood is actually these were citations to reports by real researchers, but non-existing reports.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's some claims being made, and the thing is that is a bit interesting is that they haven't really backtracked yet. Like they still stand behind the report. They just said just the citations are wrong, right? So apparently again, the story that I understand is that Deloitte consultants, they have actually done the thing. They have done their homework. They have reviewed. It's just when they're doing the sources, which is a bit of the grunt work, right? They use AI and maybe they select a bit off there. But then the question is, where do these statements come from? Because there's like actual factual.
This is a bit like a student making a thesis, like writing out the thesis and then saying, I need to have some authority, so I need to add some citations. Exactly. Right, and then you just add the citations after you've already written everything, right? Like you just find citations that corroborate whatever you're saying.
Yeah, it's a bit backwards work, but again, they still stand behind this. They're saying like we're fully responsible for the quality. We firmly stand behind the recommendations we put forward. But it's a bit like, okay,
it's very immateuristic, right?
Yeah, and again, Deloitte is not a small company, right? Like they're They're
No, Deloitte's
expensive.
not a small
They're
company. I also have seen a little bit of the tools that they use, and I know that they from very early on invested heavily in their own chatbots, generative AI infrastructure. So it's not that they don't have the tools, right? I mean, but what you see here, like either
yeah,
the tools are very immature, or
yeah.
it's just someone that I don't know, did some hobby work on his own ChatGPT without checking anything, right?
Yeah, but that's what I imagine happened, right? Like, I don't think it's a tools problem. I think it's really it's a people problem, right? Like, they probably just didn't review. They thought like, okay, like they were lazy or they were just pressed for time, maybe, maybe they had too much
Because
to do.
like if you generate a lot of text, you know that this happens, right? Like if you have any
For
experience
sure,
with, yeah.
for sure. And I think if someone calls out, you have to take accountability for it as well, right? Like, yeah, okay, I made a mistake, right? Basically. So it's again, I think the only thing that is a bit surprising is that it's Deloitte, and I think it was 1 month ago, right? That the Australian government thing. So yeah, I think it was like maybe a month or maybe a few more.
So
So
what were you saying? The previous one was the Australian government.
yeah, so last month Deloitte was causing a similar scandal in Australia, right? So I think maybe that's the only thing that is a bit surprising, that it took them less than 2 months from different countries, of course, different
Well,
teams,
it's a
but
huge
like,
organization, right?
yeah, it is, but like, I feel like it's something that it catches your attention, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you're working on Deloitte. Our colleagues in Australia had to pay back this much money. Let's be careful, people. Like I don't know. That's why to me is a bit.
But this clearly like this like to me this is like just a consultant that fucked up.
Yeah,
But to me this more brings in question like is there even a scientific method if you can just say we stand behind everything even though the citations were fake, right? Like
yeah,
what did
that's
you base your
true.
research on then?
So the best case scenario is like there were citations, but then ChatGPT just linked to the wrong citation somehow, right? That's the
Let's
best case scenario.
let's hope that that's
Let's
the problem. Yeah.
But also, yeah, to me, it's still a bit, again, another one. I wonder how many of these we're going to see like next year. And the other thing as well is like, if AI gets better and it doesn't make these mistakes anymore, you're going to also find it less, right? But it doesn't solve the problem, because the problem is that people are not reviewing these things, right?
Well, the problem is also a bit like that with very little work you can generate a lot of output, but then the actual amount of work becomes the reviewing the output, while
Yeah.
people already have the feeling that they're finished by then.
Yeah. I feel like the workload shifts a bit, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of like code in a way, right? Like writing the code now takes less, and actually reviewing the output is the thing that takes the longest, right? So, and I wonder also if this is going to change a bit the skills that you need to have, like I don't know, like giving people that type fast or people that can produce all our documents fast. Now it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, definitely skills, but I think at an organizational level, you also need to have the tools, right? Like they're building reports probably like very frequently. Like this does not seem difficult to have an agentic support that basically just checks citations whether or not they're even at the very least real, right?
Yeah, that's true,
It
right?
doesn't seem
Like
difficult.
it's in something like probably you and I, if we in afternoon we just think about it, we can hack something. Like, okay, like it's not like we're not the first ones to have this problem. They're not the first ones either, and I'm sure it won't be the last, right? So it's also a bit surprising indeed.
We
Maybe a bit
have more
related to that,
news
yeah.
from the Big Four.
Yes. We have PwC is fielding an awkward ask from some clients. If AI makes work faster, where's your discount? The report says firms are nudging prices down and moving to outcome-based fees, signaling the pressure of the Big Four's billable hour model as automation spreads. So it's very related to this, right? Basically, TLDR, what I understood is that the Big Four, so Deloitte, PwC, EY, and KPMG, they're very they were very vocal about how AI has made things efficient for them and how they're so
Exactly.
much faster and saving costs for them and all these things. And as a reaction to that, their customers started saying, well, if you spend less time because now you're using AI, why are we paying you just as much as you used to invest, right? Like, so if before you had to pay a person a full day to work this and now you pay one person 3 hours, why are we still paying for the full day? So they also started to ask for the discounts there. What do you think of this part? Do you think this is surprising in any way?
Well, no, it's not surprising when when you're the supplier of a service and you say, "Oh, I'm with AI, I'm so much more efficient. It takes me only like 10% of the time it originally took me." Like your customers are gonna ask you like, "Why am I still paying the same amount then?" Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can like for a very short term, I think you can say you're paying for the output, you're paying for the quality, which is probably true for some period, but like at the end of the day, it's market dynamics, right? Someone else will do it for cheaper if it's actually more efficient.
For sure. For sure. Also, I wonder if the for example, the story we're just talking about, how the review of the AI output wasn't as thorough, maybe, as it should have been.
Well,
If it also, like, yeah, I'm not gonna pay you this much to just ask ChatGPT to do the things for you, right?
that I think if people experience that basically the quality is deteriorating, like that will even like worsen this this situation,
Yeah,
right? But I think what the promise is to the economy at large is that AI will do value creation, and like everybody wants their fair share in that, right? Like in this case, a consultancy firm, but also their clients, right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, indeed. Like, and again, on this article, at least they are saying that there's a lot of things that the AI already automates, right? And there's a lot of, I don't know if we actually covered this, but there was a topic that we saw on our feed, let's say, uh, that in the US market as well, and how many jobs AI is taking away, how many jobs AI is created, and the market growth in the US and all these things. But there are some jobs that will be very impacted by AI for sure, right? Like some of the more like, I don't know, not even grunt work, right? But like a lot of stuff in the legal department that, for example, when there was like a banks maybe need to review statements and you have some qualifying statements that you need to assess, right? Is this high risk? Is this low risk? And I've seen that sometimes people claim that even human reviewers it's very error prone, right? And having AI review that, still having a person, of course, reviewing second, can make it more efficient, can make it more accurate. So I do feel like AI will also impact a lot, both in terms of accuracy, but here I think more relevant is the time that you spend, and then it kind of begs the question, right? Like, okay, then is AI doing the work? Are we paying you to send something to AI? Like, are we paying for the AI tool that you have? Would it be better to pay someone to build that tool for us so we don't have to pay you to just have someone using that tool? Like, I think it changes a bit the dynamics of all the things. So
Yeah, and I think the consultancy firms have all the incentives to be quite vague on this, right? Because I think
yeah,
for a lot of consultancy firms today, the reality is that their business model is simply time and material for every hour that you work for a customer, you send basically an invoice for that time, right?
yeah,
So it's very linked to actual work by a human being done and the time it takes. And I think it will probably going towards the future. Like it will we will see revisions of that business model.
for sure.
Yeah, not easy. I think especially in the consulting world, there might be a big impact. And I was
Indeed.
actually bit unrelated to this article, but in another situation, I was this morning looking at 4 or 5 large consultancy firms that are on the stock exchange and comparing them to S&P 500 and MSCI, and you actually see that the last 6-7 months, stock prices have been going strongly down for these companies.
For these ones, for the big
for
four
these
here.
ones, and I think that is really like just also the market expecting that this will be challenging for consultancy companies.
True. True. Yeah, it's very true, huh? And do you think that someone else, like, so if they're gonna be quote unquote losing a bit more, do you think this benefits another group that is not obvious? Like, is there another type of consultancy that maybe will, or do you think is really just the big AI players that will benefit from this?
The I guess the token ingestors, huh? The big AI players
Yeah.
in this case. But I
Yeah, but
think
it's a
like
bit.
just an LM model on its own like doesn't do much, right? Like you really need to have this like domain specific expertise, and I think like we're also seeing like in the creative space, like true expertise, true skills will be maybe valued more than they are today, and like everything that is average and lower will be valued way less. think that's a bit what we will also see in this space.
Yeah, I think the thing, it's true. It's true. Even for myself, I've started to wonder, because sometimes I use AI to draft. I don't know. And then I make an announcement for my team, and like, I've started to question, like, for certain, depending on what it is, if it makes more sense for me to read and draft it, because I still edit, so I still make sure it's my tone and etc. Try to make it not so, I don't know, ChatGPT, make sure the content is there, the structure. But I'm wondering if even that is too much bias for the stuff I'm writing, like the word choice or something. If I wouldn't be better off to just spend more time, type things myself. But then I don't know, like, I wonder what's the impact that it has on the people, right? Like, if you have a group of, I don't know, if I send a general announcement to the team, so let's say 150 people, and if it makes a difference, if over time it feels less AI generated, it feels more authentic. And that, again, there's a bit of an assumption there as well, that even if I type myself, it will feel more authentic, right? Like, maybe it won't, but assuming that it will, right?
I think if for the moment it's clearly AI generated, people have the feeling like you're not doing really the effort in communicating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I feel like I've always been mindful of that, but I'm wondering if even having like like, how much input can it take that it still feels authentic, that it still doesn't feel like it's just AI generated, right? Because sometimes for me, how to structure something, like, I feel like sometimes I take too much time on these things. So that's also why I look at AI, but I'm not sure if it's the way to go or not.
Yeah, but it's maybe also a bit preferences, like choosing where you want to put your effort, right? Where does it create the most amount of value? Because I think, for example, for what we were discussing earlier, the healthcare report by Deloitte, I think the people receiving it, they don't care who or what generated. They want to make sure that it's correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Correctness is more important than every letter has been typed by a person.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I see what you're saying. It's more like,
it really depends on the well, the use case that you are bringing is like a relationship that you're building with a team.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Which is probably something that, like, maybe you don't have to be 100% correct all the time, but like you want to be authentic.
Yeah, it's better maybe for it to make a few mistakes, but
to be a bit colorful.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's a good point. Something to reflect. And now, moving on, what do we have, Bart?
We have a rumor.
Is it a rumor? I thought it was confirmed. I saw it somewhere else as well.
I think, well, there's, wait, let me announce it and then we'll discuss. There is code in a beta of ChatGPT's Android app pointing to ads that are on the way, echoing recent reporting that OpenAI will test advertisement to bolster revenue. The twist: iPhone users may bypass ads by invoking Siri's ChatGPT fallback, raising messy questions about parity across platforms and plans. Well, yeah. There are, it's rumored in a sense that it's not published yet, but there are some code fragments in the actual app that are pointing to this, which is very different than what Sam Altman said a year ago on this topic. I want to say a year ago, maybe it's a bit longer already, where he was very against having ads in the app, and really was like, this is like a last resort if we need to fall back to ads in the ChatGPT app. He will actually expanded on this quite a bit in a podcast that I actually listened at that point. I forgot which podcast exactly. And he went into quite a bit of detail that this would never be a thing unless they were really forced to do it. But how it's looking now is that there will actually be ads in ChatGPT, and I'm very much wondering how it will be executed. So I hope if it is there, that it's only in the free version, and that as a paid user you don't have it. And if it's in the free version, if there is advertisement, then I hope it will be very explicit and not be like worked into the text answer, right?
Yeah.
That you get these very biased answers.
Yeah, it's like, actually there's what is it? I don't know. I think a Black Mirror episode, but I don't think that's what it is. But it's just like, in the answer, like, I have a bit of a headache. It's like, oh yeah, you should try taking Advil, because for Advil, like something like that.
Can you explain to me what a pop soda is? Yeah, it's this fizzy drink. And by the way, Coca-Cola is really the best one.
Yeah. If you want to try a good Coca-Cola, that would suck. But also like for a few things, right? Like if he was really, well, three things. Sam Altman, if he was really against it and he said he's not going to do ads unless he really has to, and he's doing ads, it means he really has to, which also gives a signal how healthy the company is.
Well, and we've heard more of these rumors in the last month, right?
Yeah. So there's that. The other thing is other AI models are getting really good. And I feel like, would that be enough for people to move away a bit from ChatGPT? Like if they start seeing ads and they're like, okay, I'll just use a Gemini. I'll just use.
I doubt it, to be honest.
You don't think so?
In a sense that ChatGPT. Well, if this is limited to the free tier, to me, like whenever I'm like everybody, like 90% of everybody that I know, they have the ChatGPT app installed. And from the moment that they're not in tech themselves, it's almost always a free version.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, and I think there are very few people that at this point, like if you don't use it in your day-to-day for your job, there are very few people that want to pay for this. And I fear that it will be okay for them to deal with the ads basically.
But do you think okay, people don't want to pay for this, but there's like Gemini, which is getting really good, or maybe
does Gemini have a free tier actually? I don't know.
I think it does.
Yeah, indeed, you're right. You just need to have a Google account. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, if that can be like the push that people are like, oh, let me try Gemini because I'm sick of tired of these ads,
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, actually, this is good. This is good actually. Yeah. Like, oh, maybe I can see myself using Gemini. Yeah. Fuck it. Like I don't want to see ads anymore.
That could be, but that would assume that providing Gemini for free is a sustainable business model. I think all providers are hemorrhaging cash at the moment just to build user base.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you can't really say that Google doesn't make bank on ads, right?
Yeah. It's just like it's not on the
Google's
Gemini
existence
space, right?
is based on ads.
Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very true. The last thing that I thought when I read this is like, maybe iPhone users. So the idea, the hypothesis here is that iPhone users can avoid this because Apple had a partnership with OpenAI, right?
Hasn't partnership?
Has, yeah. So they have a partnership that basically they can use ChatGPT and the data is not going to be trained. And the assumption here is that it makes sense that if they're ads, they're not going to include ads in the same deal, right? They're not going to sell 10 ads to Apple partners.
Well, what you can do, I do it, for example, with my phone. So in Apple Intelligence, you can log in with your ChatGPT account, and then you actually use ChatGPT under the hood.
Okay.
For summaries and text completion and stuff like that. But what the article is hinting towards is that Apple will not allow this for the user experience to basically within their native, because it feels very Apple native when you use this, that within that flow that they will allow ads coming from OpenAI.
They will not.
Right? Well, that's what the article is a bit hinting towards.
Yeah, that's what they are. So again, nothing.
Which I would also doubt that Apple would allow this.
But like, if you link your Siri with ChatGPT, it's your paid ChatGPT.
Yeah. Well, I have a page. I don't know if you can link it with your free, to be honest.
Because there was also like a thing with Apple Intelligence that I remember, like if there is a question that Siri cannot answer, it would send it to ChatGPT and it would say, according to ChatGPT, this and this and this, from the Apple Intelligence announcement from a while ago. So I thought that's what it was about. But like what you're saying is something different as well, right?
That's what I understood.
Yeah. And also my thought was like, finally, Siri is going to be useful, like Siri for the win.
Let's wait and see. So far, it's not really great.
Okay. And anyone can link Siri with ChatGPT, you're saying? Oh, maybe not if you have a free account, but...
With a paid one, you definitely can.
I'm not sure with a paid one, you definitely can. Okay, cool. And so the audio thing, is it also from... Is it from Siri or is it directly from ChatGPT?
No, it's not even audio. It's just the text completion and stuff like that. It just comes from Apple Intelligence.
Cool. Interesting. Let's see what happens. Let's see. What is next? It's my turn, I think. No?
Yes.
Australia's world first under 16 social media ban takes effect on December 10th, forcing platforms to deactivate teen accounts or face fines up to almost 50 million Australian dollars. Appeals will rely on age assurance checks like videos, video selfies, or IDs, stoking debate over errors, privacy, and free speech challenges. This we talked about about something in Europe, right? Which is different from this. So this is Australia, the Australian government. They are putting forward under 16 social media ban, and this is starting like in 10 days, right? So basically, if you're under 16, you're not going to be allowed to have an account. Actually, a lot of platforms, I think it was said here, like X, Twitter, TikTok. I'm sorry, X, Twitter, X, TikTok, Meta, Instagram. So a lot of them actually. There are
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, YouTube, Reddit, Twitch, and Kick.
Yes, I don't know Kick actually.
And they will be forced to deactivate under 16 accounts. There are two that are exempt, which is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Where you could say something about, right? Like maybe if you're in college, there's some value in that. Which I do not really understand. Is also exempt as YouTube Kids.
So YouTube Kids, is it like a different app from YouTube?
It's a different app from YouTube. It's basically like YouTube with a filter on. So only quote unquote fit for kids content is available there. Okay. But it's like really like a cancer to your brain. It's like 80%
like brain rot.
It's really brain rot videos. Like it's 80%. It's like I think it's Gen AI generated stuff with a jingle on it, and I completely forbid it in my household for my kids.
You blocked it.
I blocked it. Yeah.
You enacted this.
Yeah, like, and I think especially because YouTube Kids is like for even like very young kids, right? Like it's like you quote unquote start on this up till you're 10, 11. I think it's maybe even more vulnerable age, and I don't really understand why they would allow it. But I can imagine that YouTube already had all the paperwork ready, saying, we come from this platform, and then we filter everything out. So I think they did a lot of lobby work there.
Yeah, like he says, like, would there be any challenge to the ban? And then he says here, YouTube has threatened to launch a high court challenge. So maybe there was, this is YouTube, but not YouTube Kids, right? So maybe there was already a lot of work to put there. So yeah, there's like they also say if you have an account now, then basically they're going to delete your account or they're going to freeze your account. Different platforms can do things different ways, right? So basically if you have a lot of messages or if you have a lot of photos, you can download them or you'll be frozen until you're over 16. There is a appeal process if you're misclassified as under 16. Yep. Right.
The problem with the appeals process is that you need to verify your age, basically with like sort of an age assurance tool, like can be video selfies, can be bank card checks, or really facial IDs, which also like brings in question a bit like, what about privacy? What if there's a data leak? Like it's
yeah. And maybe
what is your opinion on this, Marilla?
I think it's good. I think it's good, but the thing for me is I thought it was good even before the whole Gen AI wave, right? I think I was lucky that I grew up where social media became a thing when I was older, like not 18 or something. It was still, but like when I was really young, social media wasn't a thing, right? And I think we talked, I don't know if we talked about here, but like you hear stories about like cyberbullying, right? Like how if there was someone that was like an asshole at school, when you get home, you were safe, quote unquote, right? Like there was nothing. But now because we're connected 100% of the time, you don't get a stop from that. And also the internet provides anonymity, quote unquote, right? To a lot of kids that gives, you see a lot of trolls online, right? People that are very tough, and when you add that to kids, like, so I'm happy, I'm happy. I didn't have to live through that. And I'm grateful that I didn't have to grow up on this, right? I think this is good.
I think, but also like to add on to that, like I think a lot of people show typically is like the best part of their lives. Like people that feel miserable have a look online and say everybody's other life is way better than mine. Yeah. And then you have like influencer basically abusing this group of people that are very vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I'm also tended to say that this is a good thing that is happening. Yeah. Even aside from the whole addiction part to this, right? Because social media can be also very addictive.
Yeah.
This becomes a bit like your concentration goes to your social media, because that's where you get your endorphin hit, which is maybe also not the greatest in that part of your life, right?
For sure. I think, especially if you're kids, right? Because I feel like kids, I imagine they have a harder time like self-regulating, understanding themselves. I do feel like today I notice much more like if I spend too much time on social media, how I feel afterwards, or even if I eat something. And I feel like when you're a kid, you're not as aware, you're not as in tune, right? So I do feel like there's a lot of negative things like that can come from overuse. Like you said, also the misaligned expectations, right? Like you think like during COVID that happened a lot, right? Like the digital nomads, my life is amazing. Look at this.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like it's not really like that, right? Like no life is perfect. Like, yeah, some things are good. I'm saying that, but not I don't even think it's something malicious sometimes from people, right? Like I'm not gonna go on my Instagram and post pictures of me when I'm sad. Right?
Yeah.
I'm only gonna pictures of me when I'm happy. But then you need to kind of think like, okay, but Marilla's not happy all the time, right? But I think
You're
for
not?
kids, it's a 90%, 99. But I think I think it's good. To me, I was also like, why did we wait so long? That's a bit the feeling, right? And they don't talk a lot about in this article why now. I'm assuming that is a lot of the Gen AI stuff and like the quote unquote brain rot. And I think it's good that it happened now, but to me, it's like it could have happened sooner as well, right? That's a bit the
Well, at
feeling
this
that I
level,
got.
from the moment that you have state regulation, like, it always takes time, right?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. What I do hope that with this, people are going to be looking at it, and maybe different governments are going to see how successful, or maybe they're going to iterate on this, and this is something that will be more commonplace in different countries, right? I do think it's a positive.
Yeah, and I think from the moment that you look on the potential negative effects of these things, like, it's very much a positive that this gets banned. I think at the other side, like, there are also like very positive use cases. I mean, a 14-year-old kid that wants to do some DIY stuff and like looks it up on YouTube. I mean,
Yeah,
it
that's
should
true.
be possible, right? But it's
Yeah,
not
that's
going to be
true.
possible. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
So yeah, there are also definitely downsides to this. Like,
Yeah, I think it's a tricky thing, right? Because the internet is a bit like a floodgate, right? Like it's hard to filter out like the bits
yeah,
that you, like even YouTube Kids, because you can say, that's more safer for kids content, but like, is it, right?
yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Maybe one last thing, I thought it was interesting. They also mentioned that they starting with these platforms, right? But they may change things in the future, which I also think is good. Basically, they said we want to avoid that we ban these, and then there's a new platform that we weren't aware that everyone goes there, and it kind of defeats the whole purpose, right?
What I wonder is whether or not this will accelerate, like, which we used to have back in the day, a bit more local social networks. That we will see. Well, this is in Australia. Maybe a new Australian social network will pop up. And it will, because it's local, it's easier to follow all the regulations to still allow people that are younger than 16. I'm wondering if like this kind of regulation will spur something like that.
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. I'm also thinking of the societal, like if you have a more local network, does it encourage you to connect more locally as well? Which is maybe not a bad thing either, right? Like to
Well, at the very least, it becomes harder to be influenced by bots that are
yeah,
that are not even run from your own country, right?
yeah,
Where we've heard a
yeah.
lot
That's true.
from in the States in the last weeks.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So let's see. Let's see. I think in any case, the initiative is good. As you said, I think it's a bit tricky, right? How to get the things right. But I also think that if you never start, you're never gonna get there. So I think it's a good
Let's
start.
move from let's say well-being to health.
Let's take us there, Bart.
So, My Hair AI promises to spot early hair loss by analyzing uploaded scalp photos and tracking density over time, pitching itself as a clearer path through a murky market. The startup claims 1,000 paying subscribers, 200,000 accounts, and 300,000 images analyzed, inviting questions about medical accuracy and regulation. Yeah, I thought I added this one, saw it passing by on TechCrunch. And I thought this is a good example of, is there an AI app for this? And yes, for bowling there is one. Like, for every topic, you can now say, yeah, there is an AI app.
There's an AI app. So maybe the story here, right? Like, apparently it's a guy that he said, like, he went to the hairdresser, and the hairdresser said, "Oh, you're starting to lose hair," and he didn't think he was, but then he started to freak out, and then he talks about how losing hair for men, it's a sensitive topic, and how when you start looking for out solutions online, you get like flooded with a whole bunch of stuff, and there's nuance to it and you don't know how to. So he built this app to basically guide you through what are the treatment options, what are the things you can do. And actually, like, I think you can even track your progress over time, right? Like taking pictures and see if it's getting better or not.
That's what I understood as well,
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. So I have a history of hair loss.
Oof.
I wasn't as, it's a bit, for me, personally, my hair was thinning. And in my head, I was like, I'm just going to shave my head. You know, I don't want to have like the thing, I'll just shave my head. I feel like the people around me, my wife and my family, like my parents, they're the ones that are like, no, you should, like, you know.
They worried more than you.
Yeah, they more than me, you know. So I was like, it's fine. Like, I'll do it. So I'm treating the hair loss, right? But it is true that, like, once you start looking at it, there's a lot of stuff that people say, like micro needling, and then you have different medications, and there's people saying, the hard water can damage can produce hair loss.
We have very hard water here, right?
Yeah, in Belgium it has very hard water, so like maybe adding this filter, and then there's people saying like with like oils and stuff, and then you have these like massagers things, and then it's like UV light, it helps produce hair growth. And like some of these things you can like, maybe make sense, right? Like light, because the hair is supposed to protect from sun. So maybe if you have like more UV, maybe you create more hair. Like you kind of, but is there scientific backing to it? You don't know. So I can kind of see that. And also I think to put that with an app that can kind of check, like, I'm trying this.
Like to make it working? Objectify it a bit more, like
objectify it, exactly.
Like, is it actually getting thinner?
And then you see some people, like I seen videos of like a guy that he had like really thin hair, and then he had this whole routine of like doing all these different things, and then it shows over time, and then the hair looks like it's getting thicker. Again, you never know, right? Because maybe he just recorded backwards, right? You don't know what's happening there. But it looks like he's getting better, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, but he spends like 45 minutes every day doing this. Do you want to spend 45? And it's also micro needling is like, you see some people saying don't do this at home. So I do think it's a bit of I do think it could succeed, because I do think it's something that a lot of people, a lot of men, because men are not supposed to be very vain as well, right? So I feel like it's something that men don't talk about as much. But I do think that
because of the app, you can be like anonymously vain.
Yeah, exactly. You can have your buddy just like,
about it.
He's like, you're not gonna ask your bros, right? Like, is my hair thinning? What do you think, bro? Is it better? Is it worse?
But you're gonna ask your app.
You're gonna ask your app, right? It's a bit more anonymous.
Maybe it'll also be like a chat companion to the app.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no,
to express your worries.
Yeah, it's like, it's getting thinner, but you still look beautiful. Don't worry. It's like, it's like. You're still the most beautiful boy in the whole world. It's like, okay, thanks.
It makes you look mature and wise.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, but the old Greek philosophers, they were bald as well, so it's fine. It's like.
So are you gonna try out the app?
No, probably not. But I have talked to like dermatologists as well on this. So yeah. So I'm happy. I mean, I'm happy with the amount of effort that I put and for the returns that I get, and that's it. I think that's maybe one last thing. I think at the very end he says, men worry two things: their health, sexual dysfunction, and hair loss.
Wow, there's another opportunity for an AI app then.
Yeah, you need to check if there's an AI for the other one. Huh?
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Just leave it at that. What is next? Is the Dutch universities, no? Yes.
Universities.
So, following a sanctions scare that briefly locked the International Criminal Court out of Microsoft email, Dutch universities are reassessing big tech dependence. Trials with open source suites like Nextcloud and OpenDesk show promise. Yet experts warn a full break could stall teaching and research unless institutions run costly parallel systems. So
yeah, we discussed this a few weeks ago, right? In the context of the ICC that is switching out Microsoft 365 for OpenDesk.
yes,
A German product.
yes.
And now we also see this chatter between Dutch universities. I thought it was an interesting evolution where they're basically testing trial running, I think 70-ish people, if I remember correctly. They're trial running both OpenDesk as well as Nextcloud, which is also German, if I'm not mistaken. But it's not like, let's switch this. Like, people are still worried about both on feature parity as well as on, like, will it not be way more expensive to run this ourselves?
Yeah. Also, the feature parity, there's feature parity of today. There's also feature parity of tomorrow, right? Like, Word is also adding a lot of AI features and a lot of stuff that makes it very attractive.
Yeah. And they also worry about this feature parity aspect in the context of, will it not slow us down? Will it not make us less efficient?
True. And they talked a lot like about the Microsoft Suite, but they're not talking about like, because actually when I read the title, Microsoft, I don't know why I thought of like Windows laptops. And I actually heard that I think I have a friend from South Africa, and he said that they use Ubuntu there as well. So everything's just fully 100% open source. But that's not what they're saying even, right? They're just saying really the Microsoft like Teams and all these other things that they don't
more or
want to
less the
depend on,
Microsoft
right?
Office extended stack.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. What I thought it was really surprising is that the beginning, right? Like what triggered this whole thing is that the chief prosecutor on international court, yeah, that's the thing that he couldn't get access, right? And it has something to do with the political views of the U.S. and what was it? Something about Israel, right? So
well, this is what we covered a few weeks ago, indeed.
Yeah, indeed. So
and that made well, let's say European institutions like the ICC, and in this case universities, like worry about like how dependent are we on basically American tech giants.
Yeah.
And what if they lock us out? What happens then? Like, basically, like, how sovereign can we operate or not?
And also, it's not like the Microsoft, which probably there's a lot of people making these decisions to need to say we want to block this. Is really just like one person, like the Trump just said, okay, block, like make sanctions and basically force the hand of tech players as well, right?
This really comes from geopolitics, right? Like, a lot of the reality is that a lot of these tech suites, they are American. The American brand, as such, the American brand was very trustworthy. I think that is no longer the perception, at least in Europe, that the American brand is trustworthy. So maybe we need to investigate what alternatives are, and that's what is happening today.
Yeah, but also what I also was thinking is like they're not trustworthy, but not even. It's not because Microsoft decided either, right? That's at least what I understood.
No, exactly, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't mean Microsoft as a brand, but I really mean America as a brand.
Yeah. No, I get it, but I was also like, it's also interesting because Microsoft doesn't want that to happen, right? They want to serve customers, and it's also probably Microsoft. They're thinking a bit like, because even we see like the sovereign cloud thing, right? I think AWS has now a European sovereign cloud, and like legally maybe they need to move some things around for like the entities and make But it's all like it's also like I don't remember any point seeing or hearing this struggle. Like Microsoft wants to do this.
Of course,
the client wants to do this, but now there's something else that is really blocking in the middle, right? And now it's a struggle for everyone because one person wanted to make everything more difficult, right? So,
or one person's administration, but
yeah, exactly. Indeed, it's an administration, but still feels like a not a weak spot, but like a loophole kind of, right? It feels like.
I also, out of interest, I was thinking, reading this article, and I think, like what, because when we think about tech these days, we also think about China. Like, what is the main Office suite used in China? And apparently it's WPS Office by Kingsoft. Like, Microsoft Office is not such a big thing. Like, the most widely used is this WPS Office, which I had never
it's a free
heard
one,
of.
huh? Let's see. For some reason it wasn't. Interesting. Because I just went on the website here and it says it's actually a free alternative. The best free alternative for Microsoft Office.
But it also, like, I think what we see today between Europe and the US has, of course, been going on for a way longer time between China and the US. And this will maybe, like, these geopolitics might, like, this might be the catalyst to actually have European contenders that are good enough so that everybody in Europe, like, basically just, like, that becomes the default new normal. And that won't go, we won't have that in 1 year, of course, but maybe we will have it in 15.
Yeah, true. And like you said, like the article, they talk about whether Dutch universities can do without Microsoft. I think there's a lot of saying like, okay, if everything will go to standstill, but also I think it's not like tomorrow, right? I think it would take time. I think I think it could still happen, but I think the article, maybe it's a bit, when they talk about here, it looks a bit like, can we do it tomorrow? It's like, yeah, tomorrow not. But
no, exactly.
I think over time, right? Like people need to get used to it. You need to have feature parity, need to blend the idea. But I do see a future when this could be the case, right? Is this an attractive future for you personally?
I think it's always good to have competition. Look more from that point of view, because it also, like, if you start a new startup today, first thing that you need is a domain and then an email address and then some like minimal office suite, and like basically you have like Google, you have Microsoft, maybe you have Zoho, like that's more or less it, right? Like they're like then you were already like past the 80%.
Yeah,
you have very small ones, but like all the small ones, like it takes way more effort to set stuff up.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to have competition there.
That's true. That's true. Did you go to a Dutch university, Bart?
No.
No? Never mind. Now, what's next? On to something lighter, maybe.
It's your turn, I guess so.
Oh, it's my turn. My bad. So we have Apple's rumored iPhone Fold is set to achieve a crease-free display via custom panel stack and liquid metal hinge at a luxury price. Supply chain reports point to pre-mass production testing and a potential 2026 launch, with estimates reaching $2,400-ish, setting up a high-stakes debut against seasoned foldable rivals. So it's a foldable iPhone, basically. Very expensive foldable iPhone, right?
Yeah, like more or less twice, well, a little bit less than twice the cost of a regular iPhone.
Yeah, a good iPhone, right? Like yeah, very good iPhone. And I guess the crease free, right? So
and these are rumors, I guess. These are not officially announced, huh?
No, they're not indeed. So everything is rumors at this point. I don't know if iPhone Fold is an actual thing, confirmed. But I think everything's rumors. So basically, the crease, right? Like if you fold the phone too many times and you open it, even if it's touchscreen, if it works, you still see a little thingy in the middle, right? And they're saying this is going to be revolutionary because it's fold free. Do you care about foldable phones actually?
It's a good question. I do for a lot of things. I do, but maybe I'm a bit atypical there. I do prefer my MacBook over my phone, so I quickly switch to my MacBook for stuff. But maybe I would do more on my phone if I would have more screen real estate. But I'm not sure. Like I would have to test it out.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm also thinking like if it's too big and if you need to if you need to hold two hands to do stuff, it's also a bit.
Yeah, that's also true because you can't easily control it with one hand anymore.
Yeah, it's like now you can grab it and just.
Point.
You know, so I don't know. I get why some people like foldable phones. I get the idea as well. It's like we had the flip phones and then we had touchscreen phones, and now it's a bit both, right? Like kind of open and they're touchscreen. I don't know. I'd probably, even if it was the same price as an iPhone, I probably wouldn't go for this, to be honest.
Yeah, I would really need to test it out. I really need to, but indeed, like, and didn't think about this. Like, I do a lot of things like with one hand, right? Also because I'm doing something else, and with my other hand.
Exactly. Oh,
let's not go into too much detail there. But
okay, we need to edit this part. Huh?
But well, basically you can't, right? With a iPhone Fold, because you're like, it's way too big to actually control it. Maybe they will optimize UI for it, but still, like, it's not.
Like even, yeah, I don't know, but like even typing, right? Like if you need to squeeze your, like, I don't know, stretch your thumbs to reach the right keys. I don't know if it's,
I would like to try it out, but so far, never in my life, I've thought like if my phone would now be foldable, my life would change. Like,
never
never really
Yeah.
had this need.
But have you ever had a need like, I wish the screen was bigger?
Oh,
Or how often? I think that's the more question, right? Like how often does that? How often do you catch yourself be like, the screen was a bit bigger. I could have done this here, but
good question. Probably not a lot. Oh, it's actually, well, in this picture, you actually see that's almost like a tablet, right?
Yeah, it's huge, huh?
That's too big.
This is the foldable crease Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. Yeah, but like,
that's big, yeah.
Like, yeah. I don't know. I feel like for me, it's like, why can't we let a phone be a phone? Why do we want to do everything with everything, you know?
So you're saying bigger is not always better?
No, it's how you use it, right? Yeah.
Okay, let's see if it ever gets announced, huh? Because
let's see if it gets announced.
They were saying a potential 2026 launch.
Yeah, actually, they said that they would make a big deal about this, right? Like I saw it somewhere here that every September they usually announce an iPhone, but then they would do like a separate thing for this iPhone, so maybe it will be a bit more traction. But I also thought just occurred to me now. Do you feel like sometimes they're struggling a bit to innovate with iPhones? Like,
I think that is definitely the case. It's been more or less incremental improvements over time.
yeah,
Nothing truly innovative anymore. I mean, it's a good product.
that's true. I think the last big change they made that I felt was they didn't have the button anymore.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, the home button.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
true.
There was like a fingerprint thingy. Now it's all face. That's the only thing that really changed. But aside from that,
Let's see if anyone listening has a very good use case for a foldable iPhone. Let us know.
indeed, let us know, and then you can buy your sock. Right? We also covered that. You can put the
iPhone sock. Yeah, it has a different name, but like this $250, basically a sock that you can put your iPhone in.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
it's by Apple, so you can't go below €200 for any accessories.
Otherwise, yeah.
So
what's the last up? What do we have?
We have Meta. Meta unveiled SAM 3 and SAM 3D, models that segment objects from text prompts and reconstruct 3D objects or bodies from a single image. The release includes open source weights, a playground, and claims of state-of-the-art performance, positioning 3D from 2D as a practical tool for creators, robotics, and AR. They're showing the website here. It's actually very impressive, very performant. Like, they have a model that basically segments objects out of an image or out of a video. So really it becomes easy to identify and extract stuff. But it also does that sort of, I want to say the other way around, that's maybe not completely correct, but going from an image to understand the image and also to understand how it would look like in a 3D world, and to basically generate that 3D model, which also works very impressive. Not perfect, like the demos that they're showing here on their landing page. They are all very impressive. We tested it out with a few things. It was still impressive, but not as great as here. But it's also like there's a playground. It's very easy to get started and to just upload your stuff. It doesn't cost anything. So definitely do check it out.
Yeah. So the segment anything model is not new, right? Like
no,
it's been there for some time. It is impressive. So maybe the way that I encountered it before was like you have some machine learning task, right? And you want to classify things. So maybe you would first use the segment anything model to segment objects. And then you just take that. So for example, if you want to have a picture, whether you have cats or dogs, maybe some of these pictures are in the nature. And to make it better for your model to classify, you segment just the object, whatever that is, and then you pass that through a second model to actually classify this, right?
basically, yeah.
this looks a bit like they also have some applications like AR, right? Like if you're gonna style your living room, how you want to see it happening. So maybe you also want to take a picture and like have a 3D rendering, so you can also play around with the image. They also had it at the very end here, and maybe I'll play. Hopefully we don't get with the copyright thing. On the playground, right? Like you can select. They're also showing videos here, which actually I think that the model. I saw some demos as well that they also have video. But they also talk about like editing the background, right? Like, so if you want to do some videos and you have the contours or something, or if you want to, like this, the example here is like a basketball game and you can remove the background and put something like sexy or something. So even like more application facing, right? Things.
Yeah, indeed, yeah.
Which I think is also very cool, right? Like I think there's a lot of stuff you can do, but it didn't, because of my bias of having used it before for machine learning tasks, I didn't actually think about it before. But it's actually really cool though.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe also one thing I can show. I think this is from the same model. So I think this is I think this is a meta research. Actually, I don't know who it is, but basically they create a lot of Gen AI. This definitely Gen AI, right? Like videos of like a cat playing fiddle, and then it's like the cat is doing stuff outside, and then every time you can actually classify, you can segment the cat and classify it correctly, right? But it's like just some absurd stuff. It's just funny because actually the videos look really good, huh? Like,
so these are indeed like these are videos generated by Sora, so non-existing ones, right? But it's still able to segment quite well, right?
Yeah, indeed.
So it's
But
still
like
able to classify a cat playing instruments.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really, really impressive, huh?
Yeah.
But also the videos are actually quite impressive, huh? Like the physics and all these things. So I thought it was pretty funny.
Trying to see if I can quickly show a demo.
Oh, please do.
But let me see if I can share my screen. Seconds. Here is one of the examples. So you can go to the playground. It's aidemos.meta.com, and like this is the example. You can go from basically an image to a 3D model. So I'm gonna see if I have an image of Murillo, which I just happen to have in my downloaded assets. And then you basically need to click here to select the object, and it will try to auto basically segment it. This does it quite well with just one click.
It's really good, yeah.
And then I click generate 3D model, and then we're gonna see an actual 3D version of Murillo. Yeah, this is.
Whoa!
Wow, this is like.
What? Get out of here! Damn.
That's crazy.
Uncanny. Jesus, it's like I'm there.
Yeah. This is. I didn't expect this level of performance though. This is next level, right?
It's like really wow. Okay, maybe for people listening, can you describe?
It's like you went into another dimension and came back all distorted, something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like you still have the same color of hair. You sort of have the same t-shirt on, but like your neck turned white, and then
my nose got really big as well.
Yeah, you got a really big nose, yeah.
Right. I feel like if I create an avatar in like 2003 on a video game, that's kind of how it would look like.
Yeah, exactly. In 2003, yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
So yeah,
but I guess people is difficult as well. No, I feel like objects is probably better performance. No, yeah, I saw. I just closed it. Alrighty, probably this is better with objects than with people, right?
Let's assume, yeah.
Let's assume.
The demos that they showed on the landing page were at the very least way better than trying to make a 3D model out of you.
The demos they showed is like you can see the crease on the paper. That it's like it's insane. Huh? That's what we had for today. Maybe just one last tidbit that I wanted to quickly share. Well, maybe two tidbits. Maybe one here is, let me share this. We're in December.
Yes.
My part.
1st of December.
You know 1st of December. And you know what this means?
Recording.
Yes. This means Advent of Code is here.
Yeah.
So Advent calendar, usually you have like the chocolates or whatever, right? One per day until the 25th. And then there's one for coding. So if you would like to try some Christmas themed puzzles, they have a whole bunch here. Actually, this year he changed. Actually, I think he's doing from the 1st until the 12th. Actually, so he's not doing 25 days anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, basically he says, yeah, it was taking too much time for me. So
is it
that
a
changed.
single person that is running all this?
I
Because
think so.
it's a big challenge. Yeah, and it's been around for at the very least 10 years. I want to say.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Where is it? Why did numbers they change? It takes a lot of time to create, and then after building this for 10 years, see? After keep a consistent strategy for 10 years, I need a change. So indeed. So he's gonna stop on the 12th of December, and then I guess he can also enjoy his holidays. He's also not doing the global leaderboard because I think he mentions it's the biggest source of stress from him, right? To make sure nothing blows up, I guess. Still very happy that this still exists. I also wonder how Gen AI is going to impact all this.
True.
Like, because we launched this at my current employer, but we also were a bit like, how much should we, like if people are just using AI to solve all these things, is it still fun? Is it still worth it?
Yeah, for the truly competitive people, they just want their main aim is to just get it solved as quickly as possible and get the most points possible, right?
True. Yeah.
It's interesting to see. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was the first year that I was actually wondering, like, is it still?
But it's probably the first year like that where AI with very little tweaking can get very close to an answer.
I think last year, because we have our yearly conference as well, I remember there were people that tested out Gemini, Claude, and OpenAI ChatGPT with the advent of code, right? So they literally just tried launching the puzzles, and I think they said that all of them, they couldn't get past the second day or something, or maybe like one got past third day. So it was still a big gap. And I feel like today that's not going to be, I think today they're going to be much better. So I'm also wondering if this played a role for him to do less challenges, right? Like, how much time do you want to invest on all these things? If, like, it's probably going to be hard to build a challenge where AI cannot just solve it.
Especially going forward.
Right? So yeah. But the advent of code is here. So people like to.
So 3 years from now, we'll just have agents in the background solving everything for you.
Exactly.
Like you're not even touching it anymore.
Exactly. Or maybe the advent of code will be just for agents, know?
Yeah.
It's going to be like different types. So it's going to be like, it's going to be a riddle. And then, the riddle is the challenge from the AI, not the coding part, So it's, and then, I think that's it for today. Unless there's any parting words you want to share with us, Bart?
No, I guess now I'll have to start making photos of the top of my head to see what the progression is.
I think you're fine. I think you got a full head of hair. I think you're good in this one. You're good.
Let's see.
Maybe this week we are gonna release the first episode with Sam for Fabric Data Days. Is that the name?
Yeah, so we recorded, we hinted towards it last time. We recorded an interview with Microsoft MVP around data AI and analytics, focusing on Microsoft Fabric. And it's already Microsoft Fabric Days. And if not, it will start soon.
Let me check.
And in that context, we're also gonna indeed release all that this Friday.
Yes. So stay tuned. We're also gonna have other guests that we're gonna be interviewing. So yeah, and as always, thanks for everyone to listened, that watched, that subscribed, that are on our newsletter. Really appreciate it.
See you soon.
Talk to you later. Ciao.
Ciao.